Hey, good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, April 13th, and I am doing my analysis on NQ for the upcoming week. I'm going to start with the analysis on MNQ1, which is where I'm going to begin, and from there I'm going to chart ES both in micros. So that's where we're going to start. I'm going to do a top-down analysis, and I'm going to start with the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, the 1 hour, and then look at the 15-minute. And I'm a day trader, and I'm looking to open and close my positions on the same day. So with that, we will begin on MNQ1 on the weekly. So I've got my chart open here so you can follow along, and I look forward to you sharing your comments and thoughts and suggestions in the comments below so that we can all benefit from our collective community. So first of all, I'm going to start off by putting in my area of interest at the top of the range. Let's see here. And I'm just going to call this my demand area on the weekly. Make this as big as I can make it for you guys. So that's my demand area. This here is our working range. So it's our swing high to our swing low. So this leg here is our working leg. So we've got our demand weekly up here, and then I'm just going to copy. And this is going to be our supply weekly here. This is our previous week high, our previous week low, and I'm going to make sure that my chart doesn't get cluttered on the smaller time frames. So I'm going to remove this from the minutes, and I'm going to remove this from the minutes. I only want to see this on the weekly. So we're dealing with this range from this swing high to this swing low, and I'm going to be looking for internal areas of imbalance. So the first one is here. So between this candle and this candle, we have candle 1, 2, and 3. We have a weekly imbalance here, and also we have a weekly imbalance here. It's a SIBI. And again, I'm going to make sure I don't have it on the smaller time frames. I want to keep it on the weekly so I don't clutter up my chart. Okay, so what I'm noticing is we had a break of structure here. So this is a break of structure. And we had another break of structure here to the downside. And then our next area of interest would be here. Right here. This is our sell side liquidity. And that is at 15,589. So that is our next area of interest if price decides to move lower. And I'm just going to go one lower just right here. Okay, so this is my weekly chart. Now, in terms of areas of interest, what is price likely to do? Because that's really the question we're asking ourselves, is price could potentially move back into the range to complete these areas of imbalance. But these areas of imbalance are up in the 2500s and then 2583s. So potentially because last week we saw price open up, move down, come all the way up, and then close just below. So we're in this range where price could potentially reach for the weekly, or price could potentially reach down here for this sell side and then move back into the range. We don't know, but it's something that I'm going to be watching. Okay, so that is our weekly. Now let's move down to the daily. And I'm going to remove everything just so that you and I, we start from scratch. Okay, so here's our daily, and let's find our range, most current range that we're working with. And that is from our swing high, that is from our swing high to our swing low. So let's just throw this in here for now. So we have our supply daily. Here, and I only want to see that on the daily. And then we have our demand up here, demand daily. So what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at the swing high to the swing low, swing high to the swing low. And then last week we came back into that range. Okay, so this is the swing high to the swing low. Just quickly draw a fib on here. Swing high to the swing low. And if I looked at my OTE, optimal trade entry, 62 to 79%. I'm just going to throw that on the chart, 62 to 79%. If it were to retrace, this would be our optimal trade entry. And that is on the daily. Okay, and our 50%, we've already passed the 50%. So we are just below the 62%. Now we've come up here, we've pulled back, and then we finished within this candlestick on Friday. So I'll just take this off. Let's make sure that's only on the daily. I don't want it on the smaller time frames. Okay, so our swing high to our swing low. We had a break of structure on the daily here. So this is our break of structure to the upside on the daily. So this is our break of structure to the upside. So points of interest would be this demand area up here, and then we have the supply area down here. And then in terms of imbalances, we have a SIBI on the daily. So we have a SIBI on the daily. We have another SIBI on the daily here. This volume imbalance has been filled in, but I'm just duly noting that it's been run through once, run through twice. So I'm not going to put that on, but that's what this space is between this candle and this candle. It is a volume imbalance. And then we have this daily here that has been run through. So currently we've got price that is about at the 50% mark of this daily, with just a gentle reminder that we are at 60 to 79% of this range when we're in OTE. Now price could continue up. It could continue up to this demand area up here, and we do have these couple of imbalances, and this one that price could return to. And we do have that break of structure to the upside. Okay, so that's our daily. We'll move down to the 4-hour now. And again, I'm just going to move everything that I had put in before, because I want to make sure that we're just starting fresh. Okay. I want to just move back to the daily for a second, and I just want to put in previous day high and low. So previous day low. And we are going to put that on the hours and the minutes. So that's previous day low and previous day high. And we're going to have that on the days, hours, and minutes. I want that showing on the smaller time frame. So we have previous day low, previous day high. With a break of structure to the upside. Okay, let's move down to the 4-hour now. In terms of the 4-hour, we have, this is our swing low to swing high. So we have our demand area on the 4-hour. And we're going to have that on the hours and minutes. I want the 4 hours on my smallest time frame, and it's just, I'm a bit crazy when it comes to okay, and this is my supply on the 4-hour. And I want it on the minutes, hours, and days. Minutes and hours, actually. Okay, so I've got my supply area here. And I have my demand area here. Now, let's take a closer look at I'm also going to draw in this area here as a major supply area. Sorry, I mixed them up. This one is supply. And this one is demand. And this one is demand. Okay. Okay, so let's just take a closer look at price action on the 4 hour. So price originally dropped down here into this area, the supply area, and then moved up. If you notice here, we have an order block. Just going to draw this in just to give some context. Order block. Price moved back down into the order block. This would have been a buy here, and then price started to move up. We have this large BISI here. Let's make sure this is only on the and let's make sure that we call it order block on the 4 hour. So price drops back into the order block and then proceeds to move higher. We have a BISI. Now notice in the BISI that we've only filled this BISI. The bottom quarter of it is still unbalanced. Okay, so from here down, it's unbalanced. So price came, it's dipped into here, it's dipped into here. It's kind of stayed in the upper 3/4. So area of interest is either price moving down and filling this imbalance down here in the bottom quarter, or potentially price continuing upward movement into this demand 4 hour area and possibly above. So those are my areas of interest on the 4 hour. I also note that we are here right at the previous day high, so this will be an interesting area to watch for reaction. And also on the 4 hour, I've added a point of interest because this area here, this area, actually we could extend this all the way along here. Retapped, 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 and then finally broke through. So we're into this very interesting area, and I'll be watching the early part of the week to see what the reaction is here. Does price want to move up, or is price going to move down? Okay, and then lastly, I may just add just a few more things to watch. I may add, this is a 4 hour SIBI. I'm actually going to leave that off because it overlaps the demand area here. Okay, let's jump down to the 1 hour. Yeah, we're getting a little closer to our working time frame. So we have our 4 hour demand zone up here. We have our 4 hour demand zone here. And then we have our 1 hour. So we're just getting a closer look into what is happening here. Again, we have the bottom 25% of this BISI that has not yet been balanced. It's still an unbalanced area. And then we have this order block here. And in terms of what imbalances we have on the 1 hour, we have this range from the swing low to the swing high, and it's a balanced range. We have this range. This inefficiency here has been balanced. So what we're really looking at is up here. Right here, this SIBI on the 1 hour. So I only want this on the hours and the minutes. So we have this open area of interest here. And then, of course, we have our demand area up here. Okay. And let's crack down to the 15-minute. Of course, now we get a look at London and Asia, which of course we'll have that information this evening when London, Asia open. So here is our hourly SIBI that has yet to be balanced. We have our demand zone here, and we have this untouched, unbalanced area down here in this BISI. So that is what we are going to be looking at this evening as the market opens and into tomorrow. In terms of what news we've got, well, Monday we've got FOMC members speaking. Tuesday, no red folder news. Wednesday we've got core retail sales. Wednesday at 1:30 we have Fed chair speaking, so I will be avoiding being in a position at that time. And Thursday we have unemployment claims at 8:30. So I will be avoiding trading anytime around red folder news, basically. And then Friday, no red folder news. So that's how I do my top-down analysis, starting from the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and I just work my way down. If you're only focused on the smaller time frames, you can really get caught unawares, because the higher time frame is always going to be the most prominent magnet for price. Okay, so let's just go back up again to the weekly. BISI 4 hours, let's just take that off. And if you keep your chart, if you use this visibility thing here, folder here, then you can uncheck and check where you want to see the information or you don't want to see the information. Because if you just have all the information on your smaller time frame charts, like the 15-minute or 5-minute, it's going to be really confusing because you're going to have too much information. So this way you can keep checking back to your higher time frames as the week progresses and see, you know, are we moving up? Are we moving down? What is the higher time frame? Where's the higher time frame moving? Okay. At this point on the daily, well, price is moving up. Okay, we've broken structure to the upside. But if we look on the weekly, well, we had a break of structure here to the downside, and we've had a break of structure to the downside. Now, price has moved back into the range, But overall, we need to be watching the weekly to see how the week progresses and whether the weekly candle will expand upwards or move downwards towards sell side liquidity down here. And then when you get to the smaller time frames, you've got at least a chart that you can work with. And we've got our areas of interest. So previous day high, previous day low, and of course we'll have our London and Asia session highs and lows overnight. So that gives us something to work with our mind on the higher time frame and where price is pulling towards or pushing towards on those higher time frames. And that is what's going to help me frame my potential trades for the week. So I hope this has been helpful, and if you don't mind, like, subscribe, and share, and help me grow my community. So appreciate your time. Have a wonderful Sunday. Take care. Bye for now.